So Gordon Hayward had did a sit down where he kept it real honest about what happened to that mid-2010s Boston Celtics team. And before I get to what he said, I'm going to say this. That Celtics team had a few interesting dynamics. For one, they got Kyrie Irving off the Cleveland Cavaliers for just a second-round pick. Of course, they had a young Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, but due to the unfortunate circumstance of Gordon Hayward going down with a season-ending injury and Kyrie during the season going down with an injury, it led to an interesting dynamic where the young pups, Tatum, Brown, Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, they led that team far into the playoffs with no expectations. And in the following year in 2018, they came into that season having expectations to either make the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. It brought a brand new pressure to the young pups that they never seen before, and I think they had a little bit bark to them when it came to taking some of the lessons from the elder players like Gordon Hayward and especially Kyrie Irving. That was Kyrie's first time really leading a team, especially young, hungry pups that had been proven the season before that they could lead the charge. And when you add on to that, Gordon Hayward did not return from his injury quite as the same player. But the Celtics were paying him a lot of money at the time, and I believe politics came into play where he had to get minutes over certain guys. So that kind of led to a clash of the young pups and Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward. So we'll see what Hayward had to say about it. You guys check out this segment, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
I mean, that part was all brand new to me. I'd never been on a team that was expected to compete for a title and or win a title. But I think that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go there. Because I knew that that if I went there, we would have something special. And, our training camp, I felt like we were trying to get adjusted to each other. I wouldn't say we were firing on all cylinders because there's a lot of new pieces that we brought. And not only myself, but Kyrie was brand new as well. And, JT and JB, everyone's trying to fit together. But I think you could see it, the flashes that in training camp, you could just see that we were special. And so leading up to that, it was something that I hadn't been a part of. In my eyes, it was just, we all had, there's too many agendas. And the agenda to win the whole thing was not the main one.
The young pups, too many cooks in the kitchen, and the young pups, aka Tatum and Jalen Brown, they were more obsessed with winning individual accolades, which is a normal thing. A lot of young players, once they come in the league, they want to get established. They want to go make all-star appearances, get certain awards, most improved player, rookie awards. So the individual awards for a star to establish himself as a figurehead in the league is very important. And they were not going to let an injury-riddled player like Gordon Hayward coming into the 2018 season get in their way of that.
And not to blame anyone either, because I think it was all human nature. I mean, I'm coming back from where the last season that I played, I was an all-star. So I'm trying to prove that I'm still an all-star. Kyrie was hurt the year before, too, didn't miss the playoffs. So he's trying to prove like this is still his team. And then you've got JT and Jalen and Terry, who are coming off where they're all starting, make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think, the year before. Like they're all trying to prove like we've arrived and we've made it, and I'm an all-star. And
that Terry Rozier boy, I tell you what, he was definitely one of the leaders of the pack that was barking back at the veteran players, because he was even in a contract year, and he let it be known that he was not only looking for a bigger deal when it came to the money, he was also looking for a starting role.
Then you had Marcus Smart trying to prove he should be starting and leading the team. And we also had Marcus Morris, who's really good. Like we had
Marcus Smart, another guy that sort of serves as a fan favorite for the Celtics, but he's one of those fan favorites where once the team moves off of him and have enough balls to trade him, they tend to take another step up to a different tier. We've seen that with DeMar DeRozan in Toronto. Once they got rid of him, Kawhi stepped up and they were able to go all the way to the NBA Finals. The whole time that team was a championship team, but we would have never known that had they stayed with DeRozan. You could take a look at Marcus Smart. Once the Celtics moved off of him and realized his defense every year was steadily on the decline, they upgraded and got KP and some other pieces, and now they look like a whole different squad. The Celtics look like they got a brand new boost of energy. That team looks completely different. And this And this is going to allow them during the playoffs, especially running that offense in the half court, that they're going to have a low post threat like KP. So they don't have to rely on Tatum and Brown just dribbling up top nonstop. They could just dump it down low, and KP is going to be a major threat down there. And he could stretch the floor. So teams definitely, once they let go of that homegrown talent, fan favorite, especially if that plays on the decline or they just need one more piece, they keep hitting a wall, they tend to move up another tier. And one of the teams that's a prime example of just not moving up to the next level is the Philadelphia 76ers, the year that they had Jimmy Butler. The real move was for them to move off of Ben Simmons and give Jimmy Butler the extension.
Y'all were loaded.
We had probably 8 players that could go, that had career highs of like over 40, who were all like arguably in their prime. Like, it's not like we were old and everyone used to, like, everyone was still like
I mean, and even at this time, like Al Horford,
yeah,
young.
he's still yeah, exactly. So we had so many players, and we just could. And the other, in my opinion, the other problem is there was too many of us in the exact same position. We all needed the ball. We all rocked with the ball. Like, Kyrie isn't necessarily a spot up shooter. Like, I'm not really a spot up shooter. JT's not so none of it. Like, we all like to have the ball and do our thing, and there's only one basketball. It's hard to make that work. And so I think that was our biggest issue, was we were just trying to all prove stuff individually and never really came together as a team. And even so, we still made it to the second round, and that was with all the difficulties that we had.
And their coach, Brad Stevens, even though he got anointed as being a great coach with not much proven, he could not juggle all those different personalities and just overall all those different scenarios. The fact that Gordon Hayward did not return as the same player, but yet he was making a lot of money, so he had to get minutes, and then he couldn't manage the young pups like Tatum and Brown, and just kind of bringing them down to a more realistic level. Even though they had success the previous season, that was success without any expectations, and the pressure was a lot different coming into that 2018 season. And also just Kyrie Irving, which is icing on a cake, all his quirkiness and just him getting adjusted to being a team leader.
Basketball, like, we had
like 8 of them.
Okay.
At least.
Wait, did you guys walk away from it like with a level of comfort, knowing that like, all right, we're on the same page here?
It got worse every time.
I mean, it was like one of those things where it's like we've had 5 players only meetings, and things were said that were the right things, but I think it, like I said, it's just in one ear, right out the other. Like, okay, that sounds nice, and we do need people to sacrifice, and we need it, but that person shouldn't be me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It should be him to sacrifice, and I'll be the one that's leading the team. Yeah. But everyone's thinking that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could give you stories for days on that, but
tell them that's what we're here for.
That's not. I'm not allowed to do that. So
no, we don't want to open any votes that shouldn't be open.
Yeah.
But I just only asked that because it's a similar situation in what we had to go through here to start the year out. Adding James to this group and the conversations we had to have about sacrificing and what that looked like. And I think it's different from where we're at to where you guys were at. We're an older group. Everyone's been paid. Everyone's, it's not.
Everyone's already got their accolades. Everyone's made their all NBA teams to have their all-star appearances. Some people got MVP trophies. Yeah, it's quite different. It's quite different. And once again, it's interesting that Hayward did not even mention Terry Rozier. This guy was letting it be known that he wanted a large contract. Everyone knew he was hitting free agency.
Not like we're individually still trying to crack this code of who we are in the league. We all kind of know who we are. And at this point, only one of us has won, and that's Kawhi. So it's like whatever it is to do that we need to do individually to win. Like, I'll make that sacrifice. So yeah, that was the only reason we asked.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's that you hit that part huge. I mean, it's like you guys are clearly, and I mean, Emerson was saying yesterday he saw you, he was watching the game and was just seeing the conversations that you guys were having during timeouts amongst each other. Like, clearly they're trying to win. They could see that they're trying to figure it out and trying to put together a big time run here, which, I mean, after playing you guys, it should definitely be possible.
So there you have it. The perspective from Gordon Hayward, which is very interesting because once again, he was that guy that was coming off that injury that kind of had to prove himself among all the hungry young pups of Tatum, Brown, Terry Rozier. Him trying to get back to that all-star level, I can only imagine, was very frustrating, especially for the forwards of Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, because at the end of the day, the Celtics they were going to give him the minutes over those guys. He was just getting paid over $30 million a year, while the young pups were still under their rookie scale contracts for about $5 million a year. So front office politics definitely were at play, as Gordon Hayward was one of their biggest signees, and they basically got Kyrie Irving for free for just a second round pick from the Cavs. So I can only imagine Tatum and Brown having the success from the 2017 season, going to the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron, coming off of that, and is being relegated to having less minutes for a player that's clearly not coming off an injury as the same person. I see Paul George it's unfortunate Paul George didn't really want to press that angle, but some of the rift of those young guys, and like Hayward said, having too many forwards. You have Marcus Smart, who could play forward, Marcus Morris, Tatum, Brown. These guys all had good synergy, especially during their 2017 playoff run without Kyrie or Gordon Hayward. But Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens should have found a way to kind of get rid of some guys, because there was way too many chefs in the kitchen. But it is what it is. You see the main difference between a team that's juggling vets with young guys, along with a team like the Clippers, how Paul George spoke. Everyone's already on the same page. They all already had their individual accolades and large contracts. So the synergy is quite different.